Class, welcome to another class on CS 575. This time we will see the partial autocorrelation coefficient. So partial autocorrelation measures the degree of association between yt and yt minus k. Okay, so let me use the pointer here. So yt and yt minus k, where t is the lagged version of the time series, when the effects of other time lags 1, 2, 3 up to k minus 1 are removed. So basically we do not consider the intermediate time lags, right? So I would like to take you through an example. First let us cover the theory. So the partial autocorrelation coefficient or the partial autocorrelation function should be close to 0 for a white noise series that we already saw in the previous lecture when we plotted the autocorrelation and the partial autocorrelation. It was all within the confidence interval and nothing exceeded it. If the time series is white noise, the estimated PSEF are approximately independent and normally distributed with a standard error of 1 by root n. So we already saw that the same critical values of this thing, so plus minus, plus on the above x-axis and minus on the below axis, can be used with PCF to assess if the data are white noise. So basically we are trying to make the data check whether it's a white noise or not a white noise. Not a white noise means we need to then convert the data to a stationary data. So let us say, for example, this is a partial coefficient with a 5% significance limit, right? So as you can see, we had 40 points. Again, this is the same example. This is 0.3. You can see all the PSCF variables are within this range, right? Nothing of the variables, nothing of these coefficients are exceeding this 95% range. Okay, so basically we can say that this is a white noise data, right? And now we come to examining stationarity of a time series data. So now let me show you an example by hand. How can you use Excel for the computation of a time series data? So you can see this particular example, I have a serial number here, so I have 40 points here, and then this time you can just see how the graph looks like. Insert, let me have a scatter point, scatter with join. So you can see this basically is a seasonal data, right? This is a seasonal data here. So at this point, every time this goes to a higher point, and you can see there is a relation here. Fine. Now let us try to find the partial autocorrelation at the ninth lag, right? So basically, what do I mean? So this is my original time series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am just keeping in this for simplicity, right? So what do I mean by ninth lag? So I am on this particular starting point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a ninth lag, right? So this is at a distance 9 from here. So you can see this 6, 5, 4 up till end. What I do here, I just select this particular set of points. I copy here and I just paste here. Also what I did in Excel is, see, I am using a formula. This is equal to B11, right? Because it is lag 9, I am keeping this as first value plus 9. So I am coming to the 10th serial number. And all the values are from here till this particular point. As you see, we have the ninth lag. So we will lose out the bottom 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we will lose out the 9 points. So if we have 100 points in the time series and you are computing the 25th lag, right? So you lose the last 25 points, right? Now what I compute for the original time series, this is here, I compute the first n is there, and basically is the total number of data points. I have 40 points here. Then I have the sum. So sum, if you can see, is a formula for the original sum of the values of time series. So from 1 to 40 points, I compute the sum. Then I compute the mean of this. So let me just press F2 so that you can see the formula. This is average of B2 to B41. So this is the average that I have taken here. This is the average. Then what do I do? Okay, this is variance, right? Again, I take the variance. So I compute the mean, right? Mean is order 1. Then we have the variance, which is order 2. So var dot p, var of the whole population, because the data set is small, just 40 points, I am computing the variance for the whole data set. So the variance turns out to be 4.24, right? Now what I do in order to make the mean as 0, I subtract each value of the original data series with its mean. So you can see this is B2 minus B46. So B46 is nothing but the mean, right? As you can see here, I'm enclosing this within the dollar. You can press F4 on your keyboard or function F4 on your laptop to lock the cell. Because see, in the next cell, what happens here? B3 changes because we now need to subtract 2 from the mean, but this will remain the same. If you don't lock this cell, it will make it B47, right? So what do? You subtract this from the mean, right? So basically the mean of this particular sample will be 0. Now you have the lagged version. With lagged version also you do the same. You subtract the value from the mean. But keep in mind one thing, this is the original mean of the original time series. This is not the mean of the lagged version. We always keep the mean of the original data series. So you can see this is B46, which is this value only. So for the lagged version also, we subtract each value from the mean of the original data series. Now we have done that. Now what we do, we multiply these two, right? The original data series minus the mean, whatever we obtain, and the lagged version subtracted from the mean. We just multiply these two. So as you can see, this one, this is C2 into E2, this value into this particular value, right? So as you can see, we are not considering any intermediate value, right? X1, X2, X3 up to X8. This computation basically will give me the partial autocorrelation, right? The partial autocorrelation. Similarly, the entire row is computed. So these values we are not taking because anyway, since these values are not there, this will be taken as 0, right? And the multiplication will anyways return in 0. Now what I do the sum of these values, right? So you can see the sum of these values. These are anyways 0, so it does not matter. I could have selected the formula till F32, but it's okay. Excel ignores the blank cells. So now I get the value as minus 75.84. So this basically is my, now just see, we need to compute this particular value. So you can see here, let me just expand this. So first we are computing the mean of, right? So we multiplied both. So mean of xt minus mean and the lagged version, right? Basically this is a numerator. So minus 75.84 is the multiplication of all the 31 points because 9 are, it's a lag 9. Then you divide by B43, which is nothing but the total points in the data set, right? So this is basically the numerator, and F2 basically is, we divide this value by the variance. So we get that R1 is 0.44. So this is the first coefficient, not the first technically, this is the coefficient for the ninth lag. Okay. Similarly, I have, so this is B48. So basically mean of this divided by the variance, right? So for this particular example, as you can see here, it has seasonality, right? It did not have a trend, but it did have a seasonality, right? So similarly, I had 40 points, so 0.25 into 4, sorry, 0.25 into 40 gives me 10. So I computed for 10 lags and then I did the analysis here. So now you can see this for lag 0, right? A series with itself will always give a value 1, right? And then similarly, successive lags that I have obtained, right? Now I do a plotting of this. So you can see this partial autocorrelation, right? Also in this case, what will be this value? So the limits, right? The confidence interval for the 95% is 1 by 96 divided by square root of n, right? This is nothing but 1.96 divided by square root of 40 because we had 40 points. Now you can see that this value is 0.3, right? This value is 0.3. So this is the lower limit. Okay, let us make it a graph, upper limit and the lower. So this basic upper will be just this value with a positive sign. Okay, let me just enclose using F4, and this value is this into minus 1 because remember plus minus 1.96 divided by root n, and that is plus minus. So let me try to again plot this. Insert, right, column, so let me keep the upper one as line and lower also as line. Okay, then there is a issue. Let me just do it again. This is basically the value of RK and this is the lag. Insert, column, 2D column. Okay, this basically we don't even need actually. We can delete this. This is the upper one. Change series type to line. This again we can change to line. And we can have here, right? So these are basically the confidence interval. Now, as you saw in the case of white noise, we wanted that the 95% of these coefficients should be within this range. As you can see, we have many of the coefficients which are outside this range. So this itself gives us an idea from the partial autocorrelation that this data is not stationary. So we need to convert it into a stationary data, right? It would be a good practice that if you can compute this data from your own hands using Excel only, of course, right? It is easy only. So if you want, I can share the Excel sheet also in the link. So see, for a mean of 0, I have kept the same data. For a lag of 0, for a lag of 1, you can see 2 basically comes at this particular point, and we will lose 1 point for the lag of 1. So this is a lag computed. This is a completely dynamic formula based Excel. So you can directly use it to compute the partial autocorrelation. Takeaway from this lecture is how to compute partial autocorrelation in Excel, because it will actually help you visualize, right? That if this is your time series, so if you can see, let me just go to lag 0 and plot a graph. And just go to analysis once again. So when we say that observation, we see that if we have a data like this and we are given a partial autocorrelation, you can see that the trend is also being followed here, right? You can see this particular curve has a curve here also, right? And we have the limits here. So if somebody gives you only the PACF and says whether my data is stationary or not, your answer would be no, it is not stationary. Why? Because 95% of the coefficients do not lie within this range, and hence it is non-stationary and we need to convert it to stationary. So class, that's it for this particular lecture. Meet you next time.